I just got a request for a quick video on string bending. So I'm going to just go over some of my personal favorites that I've learned over the years, things that I've picked up from Flair Gilmore and the likes. Not that I can play it that well, but I'm hoping that what I can share with you will give you some nice ideas what you can do for yourself. Now, before we get going, I would like to know that you know your A minor pentatonic scale. And of course backwards. If you don't know it, watch the video over and over and learn it, but I'm pretty convinced you know that scale. And then what I also want to spend a lot of time with is the last three strings of the minor pentatonic. In other words, these 6 notes, starting on the 3rd string of the 5th fret. And that actually plays from C to C, so even though it's part of the A minor pentatonic, it sort of has a major feel when you start it on that note. Now there's a reason for that if you go into the theory, which I'm not going to go too much into. I want to play guitar, not sit and chat notes and intervals. But you're starting on the note C within the A minor. Now because the key of C major and A minor have the same notes, when you start on C it tends to lean towards the major tonality, C major tonality. When you start on A, it ends towards the A minor tonality. But that's enough of that right now. This is the technical video. For the purists, you can sit and look at my other videos and go more in detail about intervals and tonalities. Right now we're learning some string bend ideas. Okay, now first of all, like I said, we're going to work with these 6 notes and obviously backwards. And then certain notes are found tend on average to bend better. So not that note so much, that note bends well. Not so much, that note bends well. Not so much, that note bends well. So that sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty cool. And that sounds cool. I just want to share some techniques quickly with my picking hand. For starters, yes, I am using a plectrum. I like to keep my palm really close to where the bridge saddles are. So I'm going to get my palm, this part of my hand here, resting round about over here as a point of reference. I like my pinky touching the body of the guitar. That's not a must, it's just a suggestion. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't work, not a big deal. But I like to have physical contact with my guitar so that when I play, I'm not looking at my strings, I'm just playing. And by having contact there, in other words on the inside over here, at the back, and having my pinky on the body of the guitar, the control on the body of the guitar, it helps me keep better sort of control. And then when I'm picking, you'll notice that I'm picking really close to the strings. Now what I mean with that is, watch the side of my thumb over here. You see my thumb over here is literally pressing on the strings. You can see them moving. So as I'm going through the scale, you can see it there touching the string, touching the strings. And it's touching the strings above the string that I'm playing. So when I'm playing with a higher gain, like say for example using a lot of distortion, something like this, I've got a lot more control. And also nice for string bends, you can see my thumb there still resting on the strings, preventing overtones. Now back to the clear sound, you can do the click of the pedal. See, nothing is done by the computer. Okay, and we're going to go back now to see what the fretting hand is going to do and some nice licks that maybe you might find interesting or hopefully can use. I notice quite often that when beginners or even some intermediate players want to start bending, they don't bend enough. And that sounds terrible. Okay, so you want to make this bend sound like him or him, same note. So you memorize the pitch. You memorize it and you go, and there you have it. Now be careful, rather bend too much and put it into vibrato than bend flat, because now it sounds like I'm looking for the note and you don't want that. So rather bend a bit too much and vibrato it, and it always sounds better. Now on the strength for the bend, you'll notice I'm not doing this. So I haven't got my fingers going up and down or opening and closing. I've got my hand sort of rocking on the side of the guitar. So I'm making contact over here, and I'm sort of rolling my hand on the guitar like that. So my fingers are sort of stationary. I'm going to freeze the fingers, and it's from the wrist. It's actually my wrist doing this. You can see my hand, my fingers are literally static, and it's from the wrist for strength. That gives me a lot more power. And then also one last thing, when you're bending, I normally like bending with my third finger. I sometimes use the second, but I'll never use my pinky because my pinky's not strong. And you get that. Not a cool idea. I know you could probably learn to bend with your pinky, and I'm sure certain players do. I recommend using fingers 2 and 3 for now. And also I wouldn't use 1 because 1's got no support. And you also don't want that. So when I'm bending, I normally target for this. I let my first and second finger, sorry about that, help as support. So fret 5, fret 7, and you can see fingers 1, 2 and 3 are all supporting that string on the bend. Very important technique. Now we said earlier, that note works, this note works. I want that note. And then I can do the same with this string. I want that note. And it sounds cool. So that's your first one. So if you got a phrase, now you'll notice my pinky did a little sort of jump over there. I don't know what correct phrase is, okay, but it's called a double stop. So what we're doing there is, once I've done the bend, my pinky is playing string number 2 on the 8th fret. So I get this effect there. And you get a nice overtone if both strings are running. Gives a nice clear sort of a overtone there. And if you go with clear sound, nice clear sound there, nice high gain. The pinched harmonic also sounds cool, and more of a bluesy tone. Maybe a bit more subtle perhaps, might be like this as well. Now also from here, the same concept, but this time from fret number 8 on the second string, bend it and bring the pinky in for the double stop on the 8th fret of the first string. So your first one is here. You got a nice little phrase. And you can get some nice little phrases built into your pentatonic. And that last one there is something that I actually got from Mark Knopfler from the Sultans of Swing Solo. What you're actually doing there is you're bending up with the third, pinky's flat on the 8th fret, strings 1 and 2. And you can actually hear me picking string 1, string 2, string 3, and releasing it, but you want all 3 notes. Nice for blues techniques. Okay. Now, other little phrases you can put inside there as well. This I got from Santana. And that sounds a bit better, has a bit more of a gain to it. And what we're doing there is you're bending this note to sound like that note, but you want both notes ringing. And overdrive brings it even more clearer. And you can hear the overtone as the 2 notes bend into pitch. And now it sounds like one string. So you're bending what they call the flattened 7th, which is going to be the note G if you're playing in A minor. And you're bending the A, which is going to be the root note of A minor. And you're bending the G to sound like the A, and you get this. And it always sounds cool. Now that idea you can also take to the string 3 and 2 on fret 7 and at the top as well, sorry, 7 and 5 rather, sorry, here. So you can do it there as well. And I'm bending the 7 to sound like that, and I'm getting those 2 to work together. Now, outside the pentatonic, you've also got your diatonic, which is going to sound this over here. Excuse the clicks in the background to the pedal. And it's going to go from the clear sound, here's your pentatonic. And my friend actually also asked for the C major, and Theoretically, we can spend hours debating this and sharing it and explaining it, but in principle, the shortcut is the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, is actually inside the A minor scale. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Technically, I shouldn't go past the A, but I like using those notes and being aware of them because they're in the same key. And the quick lesson there is that A natural minor and C major contain the same note. So here's your C major scale inside the A minor scale. And what's quite fun now, you can go. Also, some students ask, should they bend down or should they bend up? That makes no difference. But over here, if you're playing on the first string, don't bend down. That's going to happen. Okay, so that speaks for itself. Okay, a nice little tricks you can try and do as well. Maybe some slides with them. Also, a personal favorite is going through like that over there. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the notes A, B, C, D, E, which are going to be fret 5, 7, 8, 10, 12, and I'll double stop them the whole way through. So I'm bending the, and it sounds quite nice. I'm just bending the flattened seventh, the concept that you used earlier, to sound like the root. So he's being bent to sound like him. And they sound cool. So it's just some of the ideas that you can employ into your soloing the whole way through. It'll always sound pretty sweet, and it's going to work for you. Now, also, I like using my my Phrygian pentatonic, or rather the first, second, third position of it, or first, second, third, fourth position. Sorry, busy running now, getting myself confused. It's the fourth position for A minor. It'll be A 1, C will be 2, D would be 3, and 4 would be up here, and that's going to sound like this. Okay, one more time, 3. If I want to get the notes there, 12, 15, 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 13, 15, 12, 15. And I can do a lot of the similar phrases and still be in the key of A minor, even though what looks like the E minor, okay, because there's only one note that separates it. And if I play an E minor pentatonic, I'd have this. And the Phrygian one, or the position 4, in the A minor. So there's a similarity. Here's your full position 4, and your position 1. I think I fluffed the one note there, but I'm sure you heard it. Okay, it's more about the ideas of the bends right now. So try some slides with it. Notes it work better. Over here, same. Those just work nice. The trick over here is when you're playing A minor, you're coming back to him, and you're playing A minor from here, position 4, you come to that note, okay. And as you learn your different positions, you can then know how to slide across. Now you're going into position 3, into position 2, into position 1, and you can go back to position 5. And it all sort of link together end of the day, but that's another study for a different video. What you want to do here is to do your bends, some nice ideas. What's also just quickly, what quite good fun, as you get higher up over here, you can bend quite a lot. So you can go, watch those notes, and I'm going to bend him to sound like that, and then bend it again to sound like this. This is a nice little Gilmore. Double bend there. Now this one over here is a bit scary. You can see I'm bending almost halfway across the guitar neck there. So that's quite a tricky one. Be careful for that. And there's also one part in another brick in the wall solo where it bends up. I'm not going to try it with this guitar because I don't want to take chance with these strings. But keep it safe. Normally most of your bends are a tone, normally 2 frets. That's a tone, 2 frets. And that's basically the most commonly used ones. Any more questions on this? Prepare to, or feel free to give me a WhatsApp and say hi, and I'll be happy to try and answer them as best as possible. Have a cool week. Cheers. Bye.